Hello and welcome to Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Believe it or not, but this is our 34th show, and we're very happy today to have a special guest, Eric Letendre of Westport. Eric is the owner of
Eric Letendre's Dog Training School.
A very well-known training facility throughout southern New England and Rhode Island. And Eric, did you bring today?
This is Skye.
This is Skye. Tell me about Skye.
So Skye's a 3-year-old German Shepherd. I got her about a year ago. She's 2 years old when I adopted her. She was in a house with another German Shepherd, and they were fighting a little bit. And the family decided to foster her, or to find her a new home. And I took her into foster. I was going to find her a new home, but then she ended up staying with me. So had a couple issues when I got her.
But she's very calm now.
Oh yeah, she's a great dog. She's a good girl.
What a beautiful shepherd.
Thanks. Yeah, she's a good girl.
We just discovered that it's been many years, almost 25 years, since we've known each other.
Yeah,
how did you start in dogs?
Well, I went to my first dog training class when I was 11.
In Connecticut.
In Connecticut, yeah. I grew up in Manchester, Connecticut. But that's when I went to my first dog training class. You know, I always loved dogs, obviously. But
what did you have for a breed in those days?
So the dog I went to class with, I had a little beagle.
Nice.
Little beagle mix, and she was kind of a disaster. She would run away. She chewed things, and so I brought her to class, and she did pretty good. But then one of the first jobs I got back in 1988 was I got a job doing canine security in Hartford, Connecticut, at a hospital, St. Francis Hospital in Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, yes.
Huge hospital, a lot of ground to cover, and they had a canine unit that would do all the exterior patrols. So I got a job doing that. I did that for about 7 years. And during those 7 years, I really decided that, you know, I liked working with dogs, and then I actually went to a school for dog trainers. And when I went to that school, hey, Skye, here you go, sit. Good girl, down, good. When I went to that school, I decided.
Very obedient.
Yeah, thanks.
And?
So I decided, you know, I think I'm going to make a career out of this. And so I left the hospital. I went to a school for dog trainers, and I stayed on with them for a little while. But then I moved up to the Fall River, and I started my business in 1995 in the King Philip Mill, if you know where that is.
Oh, yes.
On Dwelly Street. Yeah, that's right, where we met first.
That was when I was at another newspaper,
right,
and wrote a story about you.
You did, and I really appreciated that. And so I started. They're wrecking that mill now. If you've been by there.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's coming down. But that's where I started, and then I was there for 1 year, and then I found a place out in Westport. I started doing classes. You remember this guy? Remember Jeff's Animal Shelter, Bill Connolly?
Yes.
Remember Bill Connolly?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice guy. What a great guy. Anyways, I moved in there. He offered for me to come out there and do classes there, and so I moved my whole business there. And then unfortunately, Bill passed. Remember?
Yes.
Suddenly, he passed, and then I ended up buying Jeff's Animal Shelter from his daughter Cara. And I had the business there until about 2008, and then I sold it. I left, and then about 5 years ago, I opened up Eric Letendre's Dog Training School. So now I'm located on State Road in Westport, and we just do dog training. When I was on Main Road at the old place, we used to do dog training, boarding, grooming, daycare. Now I just do dog training. That's it.
And you have a thriving business.
Yeah.
You have clients from where to where?
Well, most of our business, you know, comes from Fall River, New Bedford, Dartmouth, but we have people coming from as far as Cumberland, Taunton. I got some people coming down from Brockton.
Newport area.
Newport, we get a lot of people from Newport, a lot of people from Quinnipiac Island. So they come from all over. It's tough because when you're coming week to week, you know, you don't want to have to travel too far. So usually about an hour is about the furthest people will come. But they have come from further places. So we appreciate that. Very nice.
What are some of the problems that people have with their dogs?
Oh, okay. I was going to say people have drinking problems.
Yes, I was going to clarify that. With their dogs.
Right. So, you know, that's really what we specialize in, is working with the pet dog owner. Hey, Skye, what's the matter? You got a little itch? Working with the pet dog owner. And, you know, the most common problems that people have are, you know, the things that most people experience. Down. Hey, good girl. The biggest problems that people experience is the dog pulls on leash, The dog jumps on them or their company. The dog likes to steal off the counters. You like to jump up and steal food. They don't come back when they call them. And I would say the other problem is, the last problem would probably be like stealing socks and underwear and stuff like that. Those are the biggies. Oh, and biting. Especially if it's a young dog. If it's a puppy, a lot of puppy biting. Not aggression, just the dog's real mouthy. Likes to bite them. And so those are the types of things that we really specialize in, is helping the dog owner really understand how to communicate to their dog. Because when you train a dog training really is just a combination of yes and no, right? Dogs really only do two behaviors. They do behaviors that we like, and they do behaviors that we don't like, right? And dog training has become a very complex, confusing subject. So I like to make things nice and simple, because I'm a simple guy. So dog training, what do we want the dog to do? What are some behaviors we want Skye to do? We want her to sit, we want to lay down, we want her to stay, come back to me when I call you, don't pull on leash, right? Those are the behaviors that we want her to do. Then there's behaviors that we don't want her to do. Steal from the garbage, dig the backyard up, bark at the mailman, jump on everybody that walks in, steal food off the counters. So those are the behaviors we don't want her to do. So what we really do is we show people how to communicate to their dog. Yes, this is what I want you to do. No, you got to stop doing those behaviors. It's a combination of yes and no. And once people get that right, everything starts to fall in place. You see, because I'm a big believer that when you have a dog, the dog has to learn to live on your terms. You can't live on the dog's terms. And a lot of people end up living on their dog's terms, right?
Yeah, the dog becomes the boss.
Exactly. That's a big problem. Because when you live on the dog's terms, it's easy to get frustrated with the dog. And once you get frustrated, you get angry. And that's the last thing you want, is to have a dog that you're constantly angry with, right? The other thing is, the dog doesn't live on your terms. It's dangerous for the dog. Dog steals some food off the counter, that's frustrating. Dog steals some chocolate off the counter, that's dangerous, right? So that's,
and it becomes a medical issue.
Right. And that's why a dog has to learn to live on our terms. Okay, and that's really like the foundation for all our trainings. Helping people communicate to the dog so the dog lives on their terms, lives by their rules. That way they have a nice, happy, harmonious relationship. And
that's why so many dogs, unfortunately, get brought to shelters.
Shelters and rescues. We're doing a fundraiser this Sunday.
Tell us.
Oh, sure. So it's for Fairhaven Animal Shelter. Have you ever been out there, Fairhaven Animal Shelter? You ever been to Fairhaven Animal Shelter?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, great place, run by a great guy, Terry. Terry's the
Yes.
animal control officer.
Yes.
Skye, what'd you get into? Shuffle itchy today. I think it's the lights. But Terry's a great guy, and great group of volunteers over there. And so what we do every year is we do free pet photos with Santa. So you can come in with your dog, and you can get a free photo, you, your family, I don't care who's in the picture, and it doesn't cost you a dime. So you're probably wondering, how do we raise money?
Please do. Tell us.
So what we do is we take donations of any size. So if you want to donate $1, if you want to donate $5, you want to donate $100, it doesn't matter. Or if you want to donate nothing, you had a tough year, but you still want to picture your dog with Santa, we'll take any size donation. And so last year, doing the same thing, free pet photos with Santa, you could walk away if you didn't want to pay anything, but last year we raised $2,200 in 4 hours. That's like $560 an hour that we raised.
That's a good thing.
It's not bad, right? And so that's what we're doing again this Sunday from 12 to 5, December 8th.
Now I got to put a little plug in for
Sure,
myself.
of course.
The previous day,
Yep.
on Saturday,
Yep.
and they're also doing it on Sunday, the Cat Fanciers Federation of America.
Fairhaven.
We are doing in Fairhaven
Right.
at the Seaport Inn.
Right.
We are having an all-breed cat show.
No kidding.
And I'm judging the household pet class.
Really? You judge cats too? I think.
No, I never have
Oh, you never
judged
have?
a cat. So this will be a new experience for me. Just got to stay calm and love all the cats.
Right. I don't like judging.
I like judging dogs,
Yeah.
but this will be a new experience for me. But so this is a really fun weekend for pet lovers.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff they can do between the cats and the dogs.
There will be cats on Saturday and Sunday, and now yours is only on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday. Sunday.
Yeah, from 1 to 5. 1 to 5. You don't have to call. You don't have to make a reservation. Just show up.
They do some great things in Fairhaven.
Yeah. So many of the shelters and rescues around here do. You know, it's just I've always had a good relationship with Terry. That's why we do a lot with him.
Nice, very nice facility.
Yeah, but I've worked with Forever Paws, Potters, Faxon. I don't even know if they call it Faxon anymore. Faxon Animal Shelter.
I don't even know if they do. Tell us about your book.
The book.
You gotta promote your book.
The book, The Deadly Dog Training Myth. I wrote this about 2 years ago. So the reason I wrote this book is because, again, I want people to understand how dog training works. Okay? And as I said earlier, dogs... I don't know if it's this carpet. What's the matter, Skye?
This is a new carpet for Skye.
Yeah, she's I don't know if it's that or what it is. Hey, girl. You okay? Huh? You itchy? All right. Okay. Down. Good girl. All right. So, like I was saying earlier, when you train a dog, you use positive reinforcement to teach the dog to do a behavior. And then if you want the dog to stop doing a behavior, you have to tell him no. And there's a big belief that you should never tell your dog no. And I completely disagree with that. You have to teach your dog the word no to keep them safe and to make sure that they don't get into trouble. Because the behaviors that get dogs into trouble are the behaviors that we have to stop. So remember, you have to teach the dog to do behaviors and you have to stop the dog from doing behaviors. That's all dog training is. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to stop doing. There's a lot of people, a lot of organizations that believe you should only use reinforcement, that you should never tell the dog no. And I completely disagree with that. Because if a dog doesn't understand the word no and doesn't stop doing a behavior, that dog's gonna get in hot water. So let me explain. I had this guy come in a couple years ago, and he said to me, he says, I gotta get rid of my dog. And I'm thinking, dog must be aggressive, right? Dog's aggressive, dog's chewing up his house, something.
What breed was it?
A golden retriever.
Okay.
Beautiful dog, purebred golden retriever. And this dog was on his way to a shelter. And I said, well, what's the problem? Why you got to get rid of the dog? He says, the dog's jumping on me. I said, really? You're going to get rid of the dog because he's jumping on you? You know what the guy explained to me? The guy said, I'm on Coumadin. You know what Coumadin is?
Yeah.
It's a blood thinner.
Of course.
Makes your skin kind of thin.
It does.
And when the dog touches your skin and you start bleeding, it's very difficult to stop the bleeding. And this guy, they couldn't get his dosage correct. So he was constantly bleeding every time his dog jumped on him. His doctor said, you got to get rid of this dog or stop the jumping. So he didn't want to get rid of the dog, but he couldn't live with a dog that was making him bleed.
No.
So what do we tell him? We taught the dog, no, stop jumping. Once the dog stopped jumping, now the dog's still living with the guy to this day. Dog doesn't jump anymore. We taught him the word no. You see, so that's why I wrote this book, because people get confused about dog training. And this book was written to help clear up the confusion. You can tell your dog no. In fact, it's your duty as a pet owner to teach your dog the word no. Because if the dog doesn't understand how to stop doing a behavior, they're going to do behaviors that we don't like. And then that dog's going to end up in a shelter. Follow me?
What about dogs? I know somebody who recently acquired a dog that had never been trained.
Right.
And it's not a puppy.
Right.
What advice do you give that person?
So, one of the things that you need to do when you train a dog, actually there's like 3 steps to training a dog. You have to have a very structured relationship. Dog has to understand that you're in charge, that you're the leader. So you need to structure the relationship. Second thing is you have to learn how to communicate to the dog. You have to learn how to effectively communicate to the dog. Third step is you got to put it into action. You follow that little triangle, those 3 steps, you're going to have no problems. When the dog first comes into the house, you want to make sure that you're prepared to manage that dog's behavior. You don't want to just bring a dog into the house and give him free range, right? Have at it, because you're going to come home.
Havoc.
Right, right. So what's the first thing that I always tell people is you got to manage that dog's behavior. You have to manage. So that's why we recommend pens, like an X-pen, or a crate, or a baby gate. You want to confine the dog to a spot so that the dog doesn't get into trouble. So, and it keeps the dog safe. So if you know that your dog is safely tucked away in a crate, you can leave and come back and your house is intact and your dog's safe. You leave the dog outside of the crate, you come home, the place is wrecked, and maybe your dog is choked on something. Maybe it ate a sponge or a chicken bone out of the garbage, right? And so this is why the first step is you have to manage. That's the first step. Second step, you have to make sure they get enough physical and mental stimulation. You can't just stick a dog in a crate and expect them to come out and be a good dog, right? Dog has energy needs. They have to use their bodies. They have to physically get some activity into them. Plus, they need to use their brains. These aren't dumb animals, right? They want to use their brains. So we have to give them physical and mental stimulation. And then once that happens, you get a calm dog, right? Skye's nice and calm because she gets exercise every day. I take her for walks. I let her play with other dogs. I train her. I give her puzzles to solve.
Talk about puzzle. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So she figured out her first Rubik's Cube the other day. No.
Smarter than I am.
No, but they have little puzzles that you can do with their food. Like one puzzle that I got for Skye, it's shaped like a big dog bone, and there's these little pieces. And what you do is you put some food in the puzzles, and you put the piece over the food. So now she has to whack it out of the way, and she can get the food. So she has to figure out how to get the food. The other one that I like is a Buster Cube. You ever seen a Buster Cube?
No.
Buster Cube is this big square, and there's a little hole inside of it, and you pour her food in it, and then it has a dial, so you can make it difficult or easy. And so in the beginning, you make it easy because as she pushes it around, the food pops out. So she has to figure out how to get the food to pop out of the cube. Get them on Amazon. There's videos. I have a couple of videos on YouTube about Buster Cubes. It's a really, really good puzzle for the dog. But those are some things that you can leave. So if Skye's going to be in so I don't have to use a crate for Skye anymore when I leave the house. She can be safely in my house without a crate. I don't have to manage her anymore. But I'll leave her a Buster Cube or the puzzle. Sometimes I stuff a Kong toy. You know what Kong toys are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll stuff it with some peanut butter, and I'll hide them so she has to find them in the house when I'm gone. You see? So those are some things that you can do. So the first step is we have to manage the dog's behavior. The second step is we got to give him some exercise, physical and mental. The third step is we have to build that relationship, and then you have to learn how to communicate. So if your friend asked me for advice, that's exactly what I would tell him or her, is follow those steps. And of course...
Come to your... Now you have classes.
Yeah, and we always offer first-time free consultation. So anybody can come in and I sit down with them just like this. I get some, see what's going on with their dog. And then after that, we offer different training programs.
Very good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite breed?
I like German Shepherds, but I like all breeds, really. You know, I like all breeds. I know what your favorite breed is. Terriers.
Terriers.
Carrier Blue. Carrier Blue.
Kerry Blues,
Kerry
and I've had other breeds, but unfortunately, and I've been doing a lot of research, is that many breeds are losing numbers.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, you know, you have this big push now for, you know, adoptions, which is good, but you know, the purebred dog was bred for a reason, you know. And it'd be sad to see the breeds go away, I think, personally.
And there are many, many clubs that are falling apart, too.
Right.
Dog clubs.
Sure. Yep. Well, you know, the role of the dog has changed. How many Shetland sheepdog owners are ever going to bring their dogs to herd sheep? Right?
I never see any anymore.
That's what I'm saying. No, everybody that I know owns a herding breed. The dog never breeds herds its entire life.
I don't think many dog owners know what to do with their dogs.
Exactly. If you have, how many people with Goldens and Labs go hunting with them, right? How many terrier owners, Jack Russells and Rat Terriers, go ratting with the dogs, right? Go to a barn and let the dog go kill them.
But I did go this year.
Did you?
To a barn hunt.
No kidding.
And it was fascinating.
It is.
But there were very, very few people there.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The role of the dog has completely changed. 100 years ago, you got a dog for a specific reason. Today, we get dogs for companionship. But the dog still has the same genetics and drives, right?
In Germany, fascinating experience, is in Germany, in order for a dog to complete its championship, it has to complete certain requirements,
right,
for that breed.
Right, right.
Like Rottweilers have to do certain things.
Right, exactly.
Before they can get a title.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's completely different.
It is. It's much different in Europe than it is here.
Yeah. Yep.
So where do you think we're going with all these these changes and things?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough question to ask.
Have you seen a change in the amount of people coming to dog shows?
Significant decrease.
Decrease, right?
A significant decrease.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The role of the purebred dog is going this way.
I saw a couple of weeks ago that one show that used to have about 1,200 dogs
Yep.
was down to about 450.
Wow. Yeah. That's the thing, you know. I think you're going to see other things kind of come out, though. I think people are going to start doing more things like, like Rally-O.
Rally is good.
Rally's good.
Duck diving is fascinating.
Duck diving's getting real popular. I think you see more stuff like that.
They're doing more performance activities.
Right. I don't think you're going to see as much confirmation anymore.
No.
Confirmation's going to go, you know.
But people like to do things with their dogs. They like to have fun with their dogs.
Of course.
And they don't have to dress up every weekend.
Right.
I remember having to wear suits and ties every weekend.
Yeah.
Now people can wear jeans and have fun.
Even judges? When you judge?
Yeah.
You can judge in jeans?
Huh? I can't. I don't.
You don't know.
But people like
Yeah.
to go out and do fun things.
Yeah.
And it's the whole sport of dogs has changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It's definitely changed. But that's the thing. That's why I wrote this book, is because the role of the dog is changing. And as they come into the house, there's things that we don't want them to do that they're bred to do. You know where I just came from? I just came from a house in Dartmouth. And guy has Australian Shepherd. And the dog's on an invisible fence. And the dog's nipped, I think, 3 Fed Express guys.
Not good.
Not good. But think about that dog. He sees the FedEx guy comes in. He's spinning and barking. He's going out of his mind. The FedEx man steps out. What's the first thing you think that Australian Shepherd dog's going to do? Boom.
Lunch.
Right. Well, what do they do when they're herding? Right? You ever see a dog herd? Of course you have. Right? They're nipping to keep them in line. Right? They got to keep order.
Yeah, exactly.
And this guy coming in is upsetting everything. So what's the dog do? The dog wants the shepherd, Australian Shepherd or German Shepherd, they want to keep order. Border Collies, right? You know, they want to keep order. And so that's what's happening is this dog's so overstimulated and has to keep order in this yard that this guy comes in, bang, he gets nailed. And so that's the thing, is that dog's bred to do that kind of behavior, but that's not the behavior we want anymore. So our job to keep that dog safe is we have to tell them, you can't do that behavior, but you can do these behaviors. You see, you can chase a ball, you can play tug, you can do Rally-O, but you can't nip the FedEx guy. And that's why today training is more important than ever. Way more important today than it was even, I think, 50, 100 years ago.
You have a lot of do a lot of families come for training?
Oh yeah, it's all families. It's all families. Yeah, most of the people that come to us for dog training have kids.
Do they all come as a family?
Sometimes we'll have, sometimes we have infants in the class. Believe it or not, we'll have.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. We'll have kids in there, you know, and the big thing is that, you know, as long as everybody's calm, I don't care. You know, I think it's good for the whole family to be there to see. Because a big problem with dog training is that when you have multiple people in the house, you know what the biggest problem is? Consistency. This one wants the dog to jump on him. This one doesn't want the dog to jump. This one wants him on the couch. That one doesn't want him on the couch. This one wants to feed from the table. Right? Mom doesn't want the dog to do any of that stuff.
So there's got to be some
consistency.
Consistency.
Exactly.
Yeah, very good.
And that's what we're always focusing on when we're helping families train their dogs. So we really developed a system that anybody can follow.
What are some of the more unusual breeds that you have worked with?
Yeah, the unusual breeds. Let's see. You know, we worked with, well, you see, like, I'm working with a little whippet right now, which is common, but it's not really common. You don't see a whole lot of whippets. We've worked with...
I had some whippets on TV here
oh, no
a
kidding.
couple of months ago.
Yeah?
And they were very, very good performers.
Yeah, I love whippets. I love Italian Greyhounds. You know, we work with some Shiba Inus, but a couple of strange breeds. I just can't think of them right now.
You had some beautiful Cocker Spaniels, I know, at one time and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
You know what's become real popular? You know what breeds become real popular?
What?
French bulldogs.
They're everywhere.
Frenchies are everywhere.
Frenchies are everywhere.
Right? Every time I turn around, I love the breed. I think it's a cool little breed.
I met at your studio.
That's right, you did a story.
And I did a story on them.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere. I'd say every class I have a Frenchie now. You know? But I love the breed. I think they're great. A little stubborn.
I remember when Louise Chase, Louise Chase had Frenchies down in Westport Harbor.
Really?
Maybe 35 or 40 years ago.
No kidding.
And that was considered a very rare breed.
Exotic breed.
And now they're everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere. But great little dog. A little stubborn. But they are French.
Do you get a lot of them in class?
I'd say at least one in class lately. See them all the time. See Frenchies all the time. A lot of fun. Fun little dogs.
Shelties are nice too.
I love Shelties. Yeah. Yeah. I had that. Remember my Sheltie? I had her for 18 years. She was a great dog. A lot of fun.
I think every breed has something unique about them.
They do. Yep. Some dogs are definitely easier to train, though, than others.
What are some of the more difficult breeds you've dealt with?
So, you know, when the dog isn't very motivated, that's a hard dog to train. So if you have like a chow, not all chows. I'm not trying to pick on chows here. Or like a Shar-Pei, right? They're not like super excited like a lab or a golden or even a German Shepherd. A lot of them don't really like to chase balls or play fetch or play tug. Some of them don't have a very strong food drive. So when you don't have a way of motivating the dog, it can be difficult to train that dog. You see border collies, right? If you look at any trainer, any trainer is going to have a border collie, a German Shepherd, or a Belgian Malinois, right? Or a golden retriever or a lab. Because those are easy dogs to train because they're motivated by a lot. They're motivated by food, they're motivated by toys, they're motivated by tug. They want to be with you, right? You've met a lot of Shar-Peis and chows, right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them can be a little aloof, a little standoffish. Like, I don't really.
They'd like to look the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Not an easy dog to train. Shiba Inus, right? Sometimes can be a little tough to train.
Well, I guess we're being told that it's time to start to wrap up. And it was great to see you, Eric.
Hey,
it's
nice
always
seeing you.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Consider Eric's book, The Deadly Dog Training Myth, on your holiday gift list. Great to see everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.